Testing. Carson, are you there? As well. Here we go. Live on Facebook.
Come here, you dogs. Come here.
Are those the Datsuns I hear, Russ?
Yeah, they're trying to destroy each other. They're little gladiators.
I had to go spray bug spray so they didn't get carried away out here.
Up to you.
It's a little hot there in Columbia.
Yeah.
I'm in Hilton Head. I'm at the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hint of humidity there, huh?
Yeah. Let's see. Still thinking about it.
Did Russ Rance, did either one of y'all have anything like set and specific, like any specific topics or subjects that you wanted to go over?
Deals.
Do what?
Deals.
Well, I mean, like finding deals or what it looks like for them to find deals or what?
Stuff like that.
Andrew's in charge.
There you go. I sent a couple of questions, you guys, in the email. I'll pull that up.
Okay.
All right. I think we are live right now, guys. I want somebody, if you can see me, hear me, give me a thumbs up if you're in Facebook Live. We are here with REI Live right now. And I believe it is, yes, we're live. All right, guys. So no more picking your nose. You're on TV.
Mhm.
All right, let me get back to you. All right. Thank you very much. This is REI Live Columbia. This is the August edition, still virtual. I'm glad you are here. I'm going to try to update and go through the Facebook live feed for Q&A. So if you're watching, make sure you comment in the Facebook live, and I'll grab those questions when you get them. Oh, thank you, Jennifer, for the thumbs up. We are live. And if you didn't see last time, Nobel Bark won the iPad, and so he is now a new owner of a brand new iPad because he showed up and he commented on the Facebook lives of REI Live. All you have to do is show up 4 out of 6 times, and you'll go into the drawing. So that starts again today. So comment in Facebook, let us know you're here. Meredith will be there to take your name down. So we don't know if you're here unless you comment. All right. So this is Facebook Central right now. You guys should be blowing it up there. I am in Hilton Head Island, and hopefully it won't rain on me. So we are doing this virtual, of course. And you guys, you 3 guys that are here, how much do we love real estate that we could do this anywhere at any time, right? This is an incredible business.
Pretty cool.
We've been working while we're here, not really working, but things are getting done because we have a great team. I just signed the contract. That's going to be an incredible deal. We sold one today. We had a sale today. That was great. I should check my bank account. I think we got a deposit. So this business is fantastic. So I'm going to just start with sharing my screen and do our normal REI Live setup. So here we are. We would normally do deals right now, guys. And we normally would throw it out there and say, tell us if you've got a deal. Tell us if you have something awesome to sell, or if you want to buy something. We can't do that right now through the Facebook. So put them in the comments. If you're a wholesaler that has something that you're ready to sell to a fix and flipper or a rental buy and hold buyer, put it in the comments. Let us know the details of that deal, and we will you should be able to find your buyer there, at least try to get to contact with the buyers. So put it in the comments. We will keep an eye on that as well. If you want to find our deals, just go to our website, all right? Because that's where they are. And we just run down this. All right, introduction to us. Lucas Properties is our flipping business. Columbia Cash Home Buyers is our wholesale business. Freedom Finders is our private coaching. We don't do much of that. It's really limited space for that. But you are now here with REI Live Columbia. This is networking and education focused on helping new investors and experienced investors come together, learn from each other, and ultimately do deals together. So ultimately just trying to make money as investors, just opening it up to the broad base that's out there so that it's not a secret. Real estate investing shouldn't be a secret. It's not that difficult, but it just has always been that way. So let's network, let's learn from each other, and let's help each other grow in our businesses. So that's what we do here in REI Live. And in our businesses and what we try to do every day is to honor God, serve others, and be good stewards of our resources. Hopefully you'll see that in our business and in REI Live. So those of you watching, I see Tori Hall give me the thumbs up. Teddy, Brian English. See, Brian was going to buy a house for me yesterday, but then he said no. So I did lose a deal today. That's all right. I'm not calling you out, Brian. It's okay. Guys, so if you are here watching this, normally we're together, we're in person, but if you're here watching this, I want you to understand that you should have a purpose. Be here for a reason. Don't just be here watching, trying to listen to us in our pretty voices, right? No. Be here trying to get some nuggets from all of us speakers here today, and try to get some nuggets that you can apply to your business, however that is. If you're a flipper, you might learn something from some of these wholesalers that allows you to find deals quick and easy, right? If you want to sell, or if you're a lender, you might be able to connect with a wholesaler to connect to the end buyers. So know why you're here and figure out how you can put that into your business from REI Live. All right. What to expect, of course, you're going to expect us to just be a education driven company or system here. We're just here to educate. We're here to network. We want to train you on real estate investing. All right. So I'm not going to go into too much of that because it's hot and humid out here on the porch in Hilton Head. So put this in your calendar. September 15th is our next meeting. We probably will maintain virtual because our speaker is a virtual wholesaler, Lauren Hardy. So I'm super excited to have her. Either way, she's going to be virtual. We may meet together, but we'll see how that goes. All right, guys. So put these in your calendar. And then last little piece of housekeeping here is I do want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors. If you see the names here, these are people and businesses that we know. We've used them, currently use them, that we know the owners, some kind of connection, and they've all agreed to help REI Live members, REI Live participants. All right. So there's, some 1,000 or more of you guys out there. So these businesses are here to help you, and they will bend over backwards. And sometimes they will even give you huge discounts. So reach out to them if you need their service. Let them know that you're from REI Live. And we've got just some of these are the more national brands, but these are the same thing. These are services that we use in our businesses every single day. And these guys that are here today probably use at least 2 or 3 of these themselves. And so they can attest to that. I see a couple of Dustin Johns. You will get some nuggets today, man. And Chad Whedon, I hope you're wearing a mask. You're over there in Colorado. There's too much coronavirus in Colorado. So wear your mask, even through virtual. Guys, I don't know if you could see this. I didn't really want to spend too much time on this, but today's panel discussion is really, I wanted to show and share with everyone, what does the market in South Carolina look like, and why there's national hedge funds coming here. Why are there more and more buyers coming to South Carolina? A lot of it has to do with what's happening in our market, from some of it's political situations. Some of it is the businesses and the government entities, the market generators, the demand generators that we have in the state are incredible. A lot of manufacturing up in the upstate. We've got Savannah River site down where Vance is, and the port, the Charleston port down where Russ is. And here in Columbia, we've got the military base and state government. There's a lot of demand generators in South Carolina. What it's doing is it's attracting a lot of investors to this area. And if you look, you Mike could see these. This top right graph shows that the market absorption rate has gone down from a peak of where it was about 5 months worth of properties on MLS. This is the Central Region MLS. It's down to 2 months. So 2 months of inventory in MLS right now. That means that what's out there is getting sold fast. All right. So that means that there's people that need deals, right? They need properties. Down at the bottom, you got average days on market. It doesn't really matter exactly how many days, but you can just see a steady decline for the last year. So average median sales price, this is the top left graph. I found it quite fascinating that we haven't really seen a dip even through coronavirus, through COVID-19. So is this going to continue? I don't know. I can't say that, but I can say that it's been a pretty good market so far, right? So that, I hope, gave you guys I hope that gave you all a little bit of an idea of what it looks like here in our market right here locally. And I hope it kind of encourages you to say, let's get out there and invest. Let's take a step. So now I want to bring in our guest, and I'm just going to run through a little introduction, and I'm going to let you guys just tell me where you're from and what your primary business is. And then we'll start with the panel discussion. If you're on Facebook Live, please let us know what questions you have. We, of course, have some questions we're going to go over. But if you have anything, hit us up, all right? It'll make it much more interactive and more useful for you guys that are watching. So, Carson, you're on my top left, so I'm start with you. What's your name? Where are you? And what's your business?
Yeah, guys. So my name's Carson Fox. There's some people in here like Lucas, who's from Columbia. That's where I grew up. So I'm actually up here in Greenville, which is the top part of the state. But my company is Clearwater Investing, and we do wholesale. However, we focus primarily on the disposition side. So a lot of people know how to like get deals, but not as many people know how to get rid of them and sell them efficiently. So that's what we're able to do, provide that peace of mind to other investors and wholesalers by them not having to worry about selling the deal so they can focus on that next property. So that is what we do. And I can, go into a little bit more after everyone else talks.
Yeah, that's perfect. Vance, how about you?
Yes, hi. So Vance Courtney, based out of the Augusta, Georgia market, actually, which is about 45 minutes to an hour away from Columbia. And SOS Home Offers is a company. We're primarily just a wholesaling company. We do like joint venture opportunities with other wholesalers as well. But again, primary focus strategy is reaching out to sellers and pretty much passing them all directly to the investor. We don't even cherry pick them right now. So we kind of pass on literally the best deals to the investors.
Nice.
Yeah.
Russ, how about you, man? Oh, wait. Hold on, you're muted. There you go.
Yeah, I apologize for my wild dogs. Yeah, Russ Scheider in Charleston, South Carolina, and Charleston all cash home buyers, primarily a fix and flipper. Do a lot of wholesaling as a byproduct of that. A lot of JV wholesaling in the past couple of years, just because of buyer relationships that we built up over time. I love relationships like the one I have with Andrew and developing with the other two guys. So lots of JV wholesaling, flipping. I do loans and other investments from my self-directed IRA, and I'm buying a mobile home park from Andrew in the next day or two.
Yeah.
Once we get all the paperwork together. So a little bit of that too. And Dustin Johns, who's on the call, he and I own a duplex in Columbia. So a little bit of everything. And here in Charleston, we also have a coaching program, Clear Vision Coaching. And I'm blessed to have two partners who are much smarter and more advanced than I am. So we're able to help people get started or level up.
Yep. So great little dichotomy here. Everyone's a little bit different, and of course our markets are a little bit different. So I did want to just start with the obvious question, right? And Carson, I'll let you jump on it first. What does it look like since COVID started? Is your market worse, better, or the same?
Honestly, it hasn't changed a whole lot. If anything, over the last couple of months, we've seen business get a little bit busier. It's been pretty steady. But what I will say I've noticed over like the last month, it's kind of weird, is at least we're seeing less, a little bit less deals, but even kind of a little bit different caveat of that is investors are being slower to make decisions. They're being a little bit pickier, and they're not paying quite as much. So, typically we're selling deals for about 60% of ARV, so that after repair value, what the home is worth after it's all nice and pretty. So, if the home's worth 100,000, we typically will sell it for about 60,000. But now, however, people have slowed down, and we're having to price these things a little bit cheaper to be able to move them quicker, because we're all about doing stuff quick and efficient. We don't want to hold on to a property 2-3 weeks. We want to have it for about 2-3 days, assign it, and then be done with it in about a week. So now we're pricing these things around 50, 52%, maybe 55% if it's like an amazing area. So that's kind of how we're adapting right this second.
Yeah, perfect. Vance, how about you?
Yeah, so really just to kind of piggyback off of that, I'd say like the number of buyers, we did see like a minor dip during the very beginning with the corona and the fear factor, but I'd say investors are definitely a little bit more bearish, meaning they're a little bit more reserved. They're projecting and preparing, right? On the flip side of that, that's more on the newer investors. We're seeing a lot of the more old school, I'm not scared type investors actually kind of coming out a little bit more, saying this is the time. They're kind of picking up some. However, for us, we're just not seeing the exact synchronization with the sellers because, like in Augusta, Georgia, it's still screaming hot. Like we looked at the inventory just not too long ago, and we're at like right under 1,100 homes. And just to give context, we could double our inventory and still be in the seller's market. So with that being said, the sellers, they aren't seeing the dip in prices, so their expectation for price point is still here. Investors are a little bit here, so it really does tie into what Carson is saying as well. However, again, more on the flip side with the sellers is because of the corona scare, they're less likely to use your traditional route with realtors, right? And so now that kind of balances out the higher expectations with more sellers, maybe more available, willing to take the dip that normally wouldn't because they want to be done one show, like one inspection instead of multiple showings. So they really do balance out. And again, it really tie it to where I feel like it's about the same when it first started, a minor dip, but it really just kind of came right back to the strong market that we have right now.
Yeah. Russ, are you seeing kind of the same or something different?
Yeah. No, it's very similar. As Carson said, cash buyers are being more conservative, myself included. I was already pretty conservative, but I'm a little extra right now. And Vance, I think you nailed it too. I mean, a very, very smart coach taught me there are two reasons people are a motivated seller: market reasons and life reasons.
Yep.
There ain't no market reasons right now, folks.
Yep.
Zero market reason to be a motivated seller, but the life reasons are still there. And those are drug addiction, inherited a house. I don't want to show people, as Vance said, I don't want people in my house because of Corona. It's a new life reason. And all the old bankruptcy, divorce, bottom of the barrel things that need to get done are still there. Yeah. But Corona has kind of added some new life reasons for us, and the market has taken all the market reasons away. So that I think is the way I look at what we're seeing.
Yeah, I would agree with the quick scare and the quick adjustment right after, in March. But the balance of fewer buyers is balanced with fewer sellers. And so everything kind of seems to balance out. I did want to say, Kristen, we did not forget about you. I'm glad to have you here. We're going to get you on one of these panels. I see you doing your deals. But Kimberly, what market are you in? She's asking about just getting started. So I'm going to follow up on that in a little bit, Kimberly, so I'm not forgetting about you. But I do want to just kind of piggyback on what you guys were saying here. Is there something new, a new policy, a new procedure, a new way of showing houses that you started since Corona has started, but has actually turned out to be something you're going to continue, or like a surprising bonus, or even something that didn't work? Russ, I'll start with you. Is there something new that you had to start that you like?
I've always tried to do as much over the phone as possible and not drive, because we carry and I know you all cover a big territory, but we have a tri-county area around Charleston that we cover. Yeah. So I've always tried not to drive and look at every house. And now it's pretty easy to say, well, with everything that's going on right now, let's have a really good telephone discussion before I get in my truck and drive 45 minutes to your house. Mm-hmm. So not so much a new procedure, but a better, let's pay attention and have better habits. And with my acquisitions guy, the same thing. I am looking at a house with him tomorrow morning, but he has really vetted it on the phone. So to me, from a business standpoint, it's more comfortable for the seller, because if we're not going to make a deal, why would I come breathe on you in your house? Yeah. So it's just kind of a streamlining, not a new policy, but really doing a better job of working the phone.
Yep. Carson, what about you? Anything new that you're doing?
Yeah, so typically in the past, so a lot of wholesaling companies will do like, a bidding price. They'll get everyone out there and it'll be bid up. We do things a little bit different. We've done it for a while. We just have a buy it now price because we're here to do volume and do stuff quicker. That hasn't changed. However, if the property is vacant, we'll always typically have a lockbox on it. So that's not an issue. But for the properties that are tenant or owner occupied, we do have typically, 1 hour showing. And what we're starting to do is, people are busy. There's people being a little bit slower, like I said, at least up here in Greenville County market, to decide to move forward on properties. And because of that, people, at least we've seen, even if it's a good deal, if something else comes up, they're not getting to that property quite as much. They're not feeling like they're rushed to really make that decision because, again, they're being a little bit more, lenient. So we are starting on the properties where we can do this, do 2 different showings for an hour long. We're just setting that expectation, being completely upfront and clear to the wholesaler who initially got it under contract to set that expectation with the seller. And we're doing that as well when we talk on the phone with them. So they're aware, there'll be probably 2 times that we show this instead of 1, unless, we have a decent amount of people who buy stuff sight unseen. But that's one of the things, and kind of like I said earlier, what we've changed is what we're selling these for, like the disposition price. So we've lowered that to like 50, 52, maybe 55% of that ARV. And we've had to be very transparent, especially with the people who are bringing us a lot of these deals, the other wholesalers, that, hey, you need to be a little more conservative on your deals, price-wise, what you're negotiating with the sellers, because at least we have seen that we aren't getting as much for these properties, and we have over 2,100 buyers in upstate, so 2,100 buyers, and people aren't paying as much. I mean, that gives you an idea that if out of that big a pool, that many people aren't paying as much, then even if you have a smaller list, those people aren't going to be paying as much either. Yeah. So lowering that price we're selling for.
Yeah, that's a great point. Setting those expectations up front, that's something big especially for wholesalers, guys.
Being honest.
Yeah, being honest. Yeah. Hey, guys, if you're watching us on Facebook, I do want to remind you to let us know you're here for that iPad drawing, and put your questions in the comments so that we can keep the questions going. So back to that, setting the expectations for wholesalers, being honest, being upfront. Guys, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of people like us doing these videos on YouTube or whatever, and you can learn a lot about wholesaling. And it makes you feel a little bit invincible, and you go in with a little bit of uncertainty. You don't really know exactly what you're doing. You don't know the big picture. So sometimes you forget to tell the seller something, or you purposely omit it because you're just not sure. That is not going to work. That's not going to fly. That's going to end up in ruin. So be completely honest up front, and tell them if you don't know the answer that you'll find out. So for you new wholesalers that are getting out there and getting started, always upfront and honest is the best you can be. Vance, I'm going to jump to you, and on that same vein, I can't remember who, I think it was Kimberly that asked, she's in analysis paralysis. She wants to start wholesaling in the Columbia market. What's your first move for somebody? Vance, guys, if you don't know, he's working on policies and procedures to make a lifestyle business of his business. So what would you suggest?
So when you're first getting started, I'd say get a mentor that you actually trust, like, and follow, and just follow the instructions, right? I think every one of us that comes from some sort of success, listen to instruction and not just education, because education is free, right? And one of the things I want to really I want to tie into that same question about finding that mentor with analysis paralysis, but also being back to the new type wholesaler, and whatever you're scared of. A mentor said this to me, like, whatever you're scared of to tell the seller, say that thing to the seller, like, be truth, right? But there's a saying, right? Be a truth teller and a truth seeker. Just speak the truth. It's a heck of a lot easier. So using all of this, like all these methods or principles that we follow is all based from a mentor that we've come from, right? no matter where you get it. So I'd say find somebody that you know, like, and trust, just like you do in business, but with a mentor that has a track record, is actively doing it, and seek out the counsel with that person. Doesn't necessarily have to cost, provide real value. And I don't mean just taking somebody out to lunch for a $10 lunch, because that takes time, right? I mean, you've gone out, you've sourced some deals, and then bring a deal to somebody to talk to them. So now you can get the education through your action, right? And then at that point, I guarantee if you brought a deal to like Andrew and said, hey, I got a deal, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing here, Andrew would more than happy to give you feedback, because now you're bringing in true value of like, can you help me with this deal? He'll help you, and it's not just for the one transaction, but he'll give you that value right back, right? And I know there's other people, not just Andrew, but that's a good focus point, is like, look for people like-minded and follow that mentor that has a track record. Is it active in it? Not just somebody who's been doing it for 15 years ago, because the question is, well, how are you handling it during Corona?
Yeah.
Well, 15 years ago, there was, Corona. How are they doing business today? Those kind of things matter.
Yeah, that's a great point, Vance. And I'll share with you guys, Russ was actually the first person I ever wholesaled a house to, and he's the one who told me what it was. I didn't even know it was
That's awesome.
So I started, my first house was 2007, right? We bird houses, we did rental properties, and we had a few. And then 2017, so 10 years of real estate investing, never heard of a wholesaler, never heard the term, never knew I could find houses other than, well, I handwrote a note and found a house, but I was looking and buying everything off of MLS. And then Russ, we were talking, I think through Bigger Pockets or whatever, and I had bought a house that I didn't have any contractors to do, and Russ had a team ready to go, and I wholesaled it to him, and he's like, yeah, this is a thing. What? You mean you're going to pay me? And I didn't do anything to it. So and he taught me a lot from there. And Russ was a mentor of mine, and his team was a mentor of mine. And I think we all learned from the Wholesaling Inc. crew. So big testament to that. So analysis paralysis is real. You guys will sit and watch and learn and read every book in the library. But if you don't take the first step, you'll never succeed. You'll never create a business. You'll never get out of the rat race. So, Russ, since I called you out on that, you want to add anything to that analysis paralysis?
I have all sorts of things to add to that. Now I'm getting excited. So Andrew was kind enough to invite me to his lunch meeting in Columbia. And of course, I live in Charleston. I was starting to flip houses in Columbia. And I get fired up and say, everybody should be wholesaling. You're throwing leads away. You're throwing deals in the trash that you could monetize. And Andrew said, okay, show me what you got. Buy this one. I bought it because it was a deal. Because Andrew knows how to put a deal together, but it wasn't for him at that point in time. And I love what Carson said. My buyers list is almost identical to yours in size, just because of the market. The market determines how big our buyers list can be, because we want to deal with serious buyers. Dogs are barking. But with that big buyers list, I've seen the same thing. Is it's got to be a deal. A lot of the newer buyers were overpaying a year ago, and I was scratching my head saying, okay, dude, I'll assign this contract to you, but I don't know how in the world you're going to make money short-term or long-term on this. But now things are coming back to reality, back to, I think, where they should be. And it's better for us as an industry if we're living in reality than overpaying. My opinion. I have the most gray hair in the group, so I'm gonna take the abuse. But and what Vance said too about education versus instruction, that's straight out of Tom Kroll's mouth, right?
Yep.
It was for me. I mean, that's where I first heard that.
I love it.
Light bulb. The difference between education and instruction. Education is I understand something, and instruction means I actually know how to do something. And that's the beauty of Wholesale Inc. and the things we participated in. And Vance, you nailed it. When we're working with new wholesalers, either in a joint venture or coaching operation as a mentor, education is great. And I read books all the time and go, oh, it was cool. And it doesn't do a damn thing for me in life, except entertain me. Education's really entertainment. But instruction is, ARV times 0.65 less repairs is a great place to start a negotiation. This is a cap rate. This is a ROI. This is an NOI. and to understand those things. That's education. And then the instruction is, well, what do I do with that? And I know everybody that I'm looking at on the screen, on my screen, has gotten instruction. And you can't take action without instruction, right? Education doesn't lead to action. Instruction leads to action. And we're all here to partner with you in Charleston, in the upstate, in Augusta, and Columbia. We've got the whole state covered.
Yeah.
I mean, we even overlap each other a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're all here to help you make money. And what I like to say is, when I get paid, you get paid. When you get paid, I get paid.
Yep.
And the seller gets paid and the buyer makes money, and contractors get paid and the lender gets paid, and everybody has a problem solved. If I can't solve a problem, let's move on.
Yep. That's well said. And Kimberly, yeah, I think that was Kimberly's question. So the analysis paralysis is that's just learning and getting education. If you don't start it, get instruction how to implement that, you're just going to sit there. So get the instruction, hear the instruction, and put it to work. Carson, I got a question here in Facebook that says, has the dumb money, in quotes, left the market? And I don't know if it was dumb money or maybe money from different markets that had put value on different things. So some people buy just to park money in real estate because they know it has value that it'll stay. Other people buy because they want to flip it and create some quick appreciation. Others buy for rentals, and others buy to live in, right? So there's lots of different reasons to buy real estate. Carson, you're seeing that you're having to kind of reduce your prices. Do you think it's the buyers that were buying wrong are gone, or are those same buyers still there just adjusting their numbers?
Well, first of all, like building a big buyers list, as you continue to build that, like I have someone, our customer care coordinator, he adds 5 people every single day. But with the change of the economy, or just as it's changing and evolving, what we've seen, like I said, is people are slowing down and making like slower decisions and this and that. However, we're adding new people every day, and it's kind of hard to almost really see what those new buyers that we're adding, if they have the same strategy versus all the other older ones, or if these newer people are going to make quicker decisions. But even besides that, I think really what it comes down to, and that's super helpful, is knowing your buyers. This is like one of the topics I really wanted to go over today because it's super, super helpful. Whether you have, 10 buyers and you're trying to sell it yourself, or you partner with someone in here like myself or anyone else that does more of the selling who has, thousands of buyers. Knowing your buyers is really important. And what I know about ours is about 3/4 of our buyers are flippers, and about the other fourth or quarter are buy and they hold it to rent it. So what we know is whenever we get a property, if it is a rental, typically we're going to have to sell it for a little bit cheaper than it would be a flip, because the numbers are tighter for a flip and it's probably not going to make sense. So just knowing what they're buying, knowing that price they're buying at, as I mentioned earlier, we're reducing that price. And then building the freaking list, building that buyer's list. It sucks. Like, it's not fun. But if you expect to, for one, be able to sell more properties, 2, be able to sell them quicker, 3, be able to sell them for more money, then you either need to build it yourself, or like I said, you need to partner with someone if you want to be able to sell them quicker and for a higher profit. Because the buyer's list, in my opinion, is one of the most important things. And just by simply knowing your buyers and the situation that's happening, can help you greatly make much smarter decisions on the properties you're getting under contract versus the ones that you're just saying, hey, this is not worth my time. It's going to be a waste of my time if I go after this. So that's kind of my spiel on where's the money gone, or what are they buying right now?
Yeah, that's perfect segue, Carson, into you're helping wholesalers dispose of their properties. You're helping them sell them to your buyers list because you know your buyers, and that's what you focused on, and that's what you do well. If someone's new and they want to take advantage of that, how would they go about that? How would they come to you, and what would you help them with? And while you do that and answer that, I got to plug my laptop up. So keep talking. I can hear you.
All right. So whether, like I said, you go with a company like us, Clearwater Investing here in the upstate, or one of these gentlemen here on this video, or someone else, if you're not even in this market, of course, it's all built on trust. But pretty much what I tell everyone else is, I'm pretty much an open book, and a lot of these people are. But really what you should expect is, one, you need first to have the property under contract. If it's not under contract and you're trying to get an idea of, what it's worth or any of that type of information, then, call one of us or tell us the details about the property. But if you do have it under contract, one thing I always ask for is pictures. Like, I need to at least see the condition of this, because what a homeowner says versus what is actually the situation is, or how it is like two completely different stories. But from there, what we tell people is we need to know, what you have it under contract for. If we don't know what that is, and this goes for like a lot of other people too, then if I'm looking at the property and I see it's worth, I don't know, 200,000, and I know right now we're selling deals for about 100,000, that's 50% of that. If you're not going to tell me or someone else what you have it under contract for, then I can't tell you if we can sell it or not. Because I have to know, and other people have to know, what you got under contract for versus what we can sell it. Because like us, there has to be at least a minimum of a 10 grand split. So 5 for you guys and 5 for us. We always do 50-50. I don't want to go too in depth, and I can go about this a little bit more after other people talk and stuff, because I could talk about this for 30 minutes. But essentially, if the price is there, the margin is there, and you feel comfortable with us selling, because again, this has to, benefit you before it benefits us, then basically for 10 days, we'll sign what's called an exclusive contract. It's just an agreement for us to be able to sell it for 10 days, solely us, because we will set up the inspections. We'll have one of our quote unquote field inspectors go to the property, make sure everyone can get in there at once. We'll choose that buyer. We'll get the assignment signed. We'll get over to the attorney. So basically, during this whole process, you don't have to worry about it being sold or scheduling stuff. You can just focus on getting that next deal under contract. And then you can go to the attorney on the closing day, which we keep you up to date every 3 days, to get your check, or you can have it wired. So that's kind of what it looks like doing business with us or someone else who does, a lot of the dispositions and kind of the process from start to finish.
Yeah, that's perfect, Carson. And I actually had to run downstairs to get the charger, if y'all believe that. So
I'd like to
that was
if you don't mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, Vance, if you'll add on to that.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect example, guys, of a professional business in real estate. Guys, there's a lot of people that kind of start this and go on a whim and never really get into a professional business that has procedures and policies and systems in place. What Carson just described is why I asked him to be on this podcast today. So Vance, go ahead.
Yeah, I really actually want to piggyback more off of what Carson was actually saying here. And this actually helped a little bit more, because the kind of question is like, how do you get started? How do you start doing this, right? And he really hits on the buyers. I do want to make it clear. I actually just had a conversation today about a package deal with another wholesaler. Like, this is hilarious, right? It's just great timing. Where I wanted to make it clear that there's no such thing as my cash buyer, right? There's no such thing. If I think that I have a cash buyer that's working with just me, then I'm delusional, right? And so the real power behind that is, if you have a contract and you have this information, immediately, if you didn't build the buyers list first because you took action on the acquisition side, which is perfectly fine, take action is the biggest thing. Yeah. Go team up, because I guarantee that if you talk to Carson and said, hey, here's this deal, we're going to work with you, could you let me know the interested buyers? It's not like he's going to be like, no, these are my buyers, I'm not going to tell you anybody who's interested. No, he's going to be like, yeah, these are the 5, 6, 10, 20 people that are interested. Now you're building your buyers and you're bringing value to Carson. Now, if you don't even want to deal on a disposition side, by all means, team up every time, right? Be really, really good at something, right? Like the one thing kind of principle, right? Just focus on it. But the goal is, if you're trying to have an all-encompassing wholesaling business, you're providing a product to a consumer. Who is your consumer? And that is the buyers. Your product is the real estate. You're helping sellers, byproduct being the real estate, but you have to give that over to your buyers. So paying attention to what they like, and keeping track of this information from zip codes, homes, just like you were saying, size, flip, are they hold? We track all that information as well. So that way we can reach out to the buyers when we have a deal that fits that criteria. But again, for getting started, I just really want to emphasize on that core question of like, how do I get started? If you've already got a deal, start working with somebody who JVs, if you're, whether it's with Russ, Carson, Andrew, myself, depending on your area, it doesn't matter. I guarantee there'll be no problem helping you giving out the buyers, especially for property you found. So you can go find another property like that and help those same buyers, and you just build it organically if you have to. But either way, go get and build up 100 or 150 buyers, right? Start there. Believe it or not, just to really caveat how important it is of what Carson is saying, he is not exaggerating about how important it is with the buyers. If you're wholesaling specifically, like it may not feel like a revenue generating thing of calling, buyers, because you don't have a contract and that the contract is what does it. What good is it if you have nobody who wants to buy it, right? So again, focus on that. Go get the 100, 150 buyers, build your pool up. If you want to go get the deals because you've learned all that already, go get it and start building it up by bringing deals and bringing value to these guys.
Yeah, that's a perfect add-on there. And Vance, I want to come back to you with the, Carson, of course, was just talking a lot about the dispo side. If somebody were in your market and they wanted to get a deal, they were looking to get a wholesale deal, for example, since we're kind of on that vein, how would you suggest they were to, how should they start in Augusta? What's their first move to get a wholesale deal? And is that something you would help them with, or is there a network there that they should connect with?
So absolutely. So one of the things is always, you can join a local REI, you always will hear about that. It's a little bit harder right now because they're starting to come together more in a physical form, but reach out to the other wholesalers, right? Like I'll give a shout out to a couple of them here. Like it's not just about me, right? So you can reach out to like Vance at soshomeoffers.com. Just reach out there. I'll even give my a number if you want. Just shoot me a text, 706-250-2288. Hey, I'm looking for trying to help finding deals or whatever. I help all new people out all the time, right? But not just myself. There's other people here like Paul and Rita Grimes, Grime Home Buyers. They're out here. They come up the same way. If you want some assistance, I guarantee they'll be out there to help you as well. There's multiple wholesalers here. Joseph Cordova, who's out here grinding it, doing the same thing. TJ Jones. There's people that are out here that are all working together as wholesalers. And I guarantee they'll come out and help. Now, maybe I'm throwing them out there saying they all will, and maybe they're busy. I don't know, but I just know that most people have a go-giver. Yeah, see, TJ's out there, yeah. So, but I guarantee the handful that I've listed would have no problem helping, especially if, look, start off if you have to as a bird dog. Is that not, or that's an okay way. If you don't have money to go get some kind of mentor and you don't have anybody start off with a bird dog. Just do it once or twice, and that's enough to get the momentum. Where I guarantee if somebody comes up to us and says, hey, I'd like to be a bird dog for you, what do I need to do? And you give them the few basics and you just see them taking massive action 2 weeks later to bring a deal. Are you not going to guide them a little bit more when they brought you that deal, right?
Yeah.
Hey, here's another one, right? Like a few hours of your time to bring in 3 to 5 deals and ensure they venture off on their own. That's a gratification, man. The most selfish thing in the world is to help somebody else succeed because it makes me feel good. I feel good, right? Like Russ, look, you got over here working with Andrew and he's over here doing this thing and you're on the show with him, right? That's gratifying to know that you had the impact you can have on somebody's life. So I guarantee there's tons of people out there. Just don't be scared to ask.
That's a great point, Vance. I love that. And Russ, go ahead.
Just one quick thing is know where people are buying is super big, because I'll get deals or we'll get deals from multiple different people, and they'll be in areas that are not growing or they're super small. And honestly, those areas just are not worth the effort or the time or anything. So whether you get someone to sell your deals or you're selling it, try even reaching out to well-known people or people who are actually doing stuff in your market, whether it's other wholesalers or even buyers, and just get an idea of the hot zip codes or the good areas that are really growing and developing. Because you don't want to waste your time with small little towns. It's not worth it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Russ, I want to bring you in to kind of make the full circle. So Carson kind of gave us the disposition and Vance was giving us acquisition. can you give us what it looks like to be a buyer right now in today's market, as a fix and flipper or buy and hold? There are plenty of people that are trying to get started. They have the money or they have the resources to
Sure.
get started in this game. What do you suggest they do? How do they find the deal? How do they go partner with wholesalers? Like what should they do as their first step so that they're not overpaying right out the gate?
Well, if it's your first deal, whether it's a fix and flip or a rental or a wholesale deal, you need to understand the numbers. Someone needs to teach you the numbers. And what I'll offer, you guys have all offered things. I have a spreadsheet. I just updated it last week with new construction materials costs, because did they go up or down during Corona? They went up. So I just updated my rehab sheet. It has rental rates. It has, fix and flipper, because I'm plugged for myself. If you're watching this and you have a deal, contact me, because I'm a buyer and I'm looking for something to flip. I've sold almost everything I have, so it's time to buy something. If I can't buy it, then we'll joint venture on it. And whether we're going to JV or not, I want to send you this worksheet, because I feel like, Vance said it, Carson said it, I know Andrew believes it. It elevates the professionalism, despite the fact I have to hold my dog so he doesn't cry. It elevates the professionalism of the whole market if we all understand how the numbers work and what the deal is going to look like at the end, right? Begin with the end in mind.
Yeah.
There's so many people, the education and instruction that go into it. As a buyer, Andrew, I'm answering your question. As a buyer, what I'm looking for where I'm going to end up 6 months from now, 10 years from now, 6 weeks from now, whenever this deal ends for me. Where am I going to be then? And knowing that at the beginning of the process, this spreadsheet that I've spent years building, my son actually built it. I just gave him all the data. But this spreadsheet is very powerful and very helpful, I think, for all of us. And I loved the way y'all are talking about working with other wholesalers, which is something that I do all the time. And you learn from my mistakes. You learn what a memorandum of contract is. You don't get scooped. You learn what a 40-year chain of title is. You learn that even though there are 3 people paying on the tax record, there's a 4th person on a will. So that original title search, where it only showed 3 owners and we were going to make $65,000 assignment fee, is out the window when we do the 40-year chain of title and find that 4th heir. Do you think I check for wills every single time now? So that's a value, not just because Carson has a big buyer's list and Vance has a big buyer's list and I built a big buyer's list, but let us keep you out of those pitfalls. And you're out there hunting. You're the bird dog. You're the honeybee out there working the flowers and bring it back to the hive, but then I'm going to help you process it. And that's what these guys are offering you in those markets. That's what we can offer you in our markets. And from a buyer's perspective, Andrew, the real simple answer to your question is knowing my numbers, knowing where I'm going to end up at the end of the deal.
Right.
And making decisions based on that. I'm not going to buy something that I know is not going to work out because my cute little spreadsheet says it's not.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Yeah. You can't fake it. Once you put the numbers in and you start, you can't try to like, oh, well, maybe I'll get lumber at half price. No, it's not. It's not going to happen that way. So,
and one more thing I'll share, and this is a very recent experience for me. It's been happening on my Columbia projects a lot, but it's starting to hit me in Charleston that properties are not appraising.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm flipping a house. ARV says it's worth 200. I get it under contract for 206. Buyer's happy. They're going to pay 206. It appraises at 195.
Yep.
So that's why having an after repair value that's accurate is really important for our end buyers. This time that was me. I'm the end buyer. And making sure that ARV is really accurate, because even though the markets are superheated, the appraisers aren't playing those games. So that's what gives you the gray hair, is those pitfalls. And an experienced guy like us, or woman like us can keep you out of those pitfalls.
That's right. That's a great point. And yeah, the appraisers are kind of hitting the brakes a little bit faster than the buyers on a lot of things. So just be aware of that. And I've got a couple of questions and a couple of people I want to reach out to. So Enoch is asking, are you still staging houses even with low physical showings? And I can answer that. From our flips, yes. Every house that is staged sells. I know there's data for this, but it's like 10 times faster. It just sells faster. When it's staged, it looks better. You can feel the home. Go ahead and stage it as long as you have the budget for it and it's a house that makes sense. We're not going to probably not going to stage an $85,000 property. But anything 125 or something like that, we're going to stage it. Who is this? Elisa or Eliza? So she wants to learn. She's got a contract here, and I wanted to reach out and just tell you, maybe email, because that seems a little bit too detailed for us. Busy highway, commercial property. We probably would want to look at some numbers, look at some comps, that kind of thing to help you out. But if it's in Columbia, email me, or you can do it in Facebook, and we could all do it together. But yeah, let's do that. And let's see who else had questions. Thanks, Brianna. Bree, she's killing it out there. Let's see. All right, I think we got all the questions that were asked, guys. So go ahead, Carson.
I want to piggyback off of something with Russ. So ARVs and like getting comps and stuff, like if you could just literally figure out this one thing, like you can pretty much be successful with wholesaling as long as you treat everyone right and do the right thing. And I'm actually, so we're doing like a 3-week video over like the 3 main common issues or obstacles we find wholesalers going into, and I can just talk about that later. But as far as like ARV, you have to be super careful from it. Like you can't try to bring that ARV up just to make the deal work for you and the seller, just so you can get it under contract. Because if you overinflate it, you're going to do a couple things. One, you're probably not going to be able to sell a deal, or it's going to be for a lot less margin. 2, you're going to lose trust of both the person you got under contract with, and whether you send it to someone like us. I'm just, if it happens time and time again, and like I give you input and you don't fix it or work on it, like I'm going to stop looking at the deal because it's just wasting my time. But 3, if you're even just going around me or someone else who does the same thing and going straight to buyers, if that's what you want to do, which is fine, you're going to lose the trust of them. So like being super accurate with your ARVs, don't like, at least with us, we don't ever we put literally the wholesale price and the ARV, and then a little bit of information on the email blast or MailChimp, and that's it. Like, it's not worth, at least in my opinion, it's not worth putting on their rehab costs or rehab budgets, because a lot of people in this group and just in general are newer at real estate. And even I've only been in it 2.5 years. We've done about 55 properties, but I know absolutely nothing about rehabbing. And I don't want to know anything about rehabbing. That's for you, Russ, and everyone else. But don't put that figure, because Russ is going to get a completely different number than, Joe Schmo who comes to take a look at the house or whatever too, because everyone has different strategies. So get that accurate ARV.
Okay, but I can't let that slide as a buyer. I'm going to represent the buyers now.
Huh?
So there are 2, and I'm going to agree with you, Carson. There are only 2 variables in the acquisition formula, right? ARV and repairs. Mm-hmm. The rest of it's fixed.
Yeah.
So as you said, you have to get the ARV right, but you must have some general understanding of what repairs cost. And all 27 of us on this call could do repairs and come up with a slightly different number. Yeah. But one of us shouldn't be at 7,000, the other one at 60,000.
Right.
To have a general idea, is this going to be 35 to 40,000? Is this 60 to 100,000? I mean, let's have some idea and be professional about it, because as you said, that the end buyer A lot of times that's me. Send me deals, please. If you're saying it's going to take 20 grand and I know it's going to be 65 minimum, then my confidence in you, every time I see your name, you generically, whoever you are, I'm going to just swipe.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that, I don't want that to happen. I want everybody to be on that professional level to say, yeah, I mean, maybe it's 40, maybe it's 60, but it sure as hell isn't 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and let's get close. And I love that you're doing ARV training. I can do repair training if you want to collaborate. And I'm not here to compete with anybody on this call. I'm here to collaborate, and let's get better and better and better and raise the image of our industry, please.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Before we get outlawed with legislation, right? So
Right.
we did some comping on the last REI Live, I think. So I think it's in the Facebook group.
Okay.
Yeah. And Carson, if you let me know when you're doing that, and we could post it. Or you
Yeah.
can post it.
What's your guys' thoughts? Because this is one of the things that we actually do because of this exact principle right here, the great big debate about comps, ARV. Like, we don't put ARV in our marketing at all. We just put the price. And when we go and find out what the price is, because I'm kind of like Carson, don't shoot me, Russ, here. I'm not the best at rehab costs like Russ is, right? What I'm doing and what we're good at is as is comps. So I go look at homes that recently sold that were the exact, an actual comparable where it's as is, and that's my baseline. And then my goal is to get it under. And at that point, if I'm beating the market, as long as the market's like steady or growing, right? Like it is right now, at least steady.
Yeah.
When it's declining, then the as is comps become a little bit more, less and less irrelevant, right? Because we're in a declining state. But we just kind of leverage that principle of like as is. So there is no ARV. We just find a like and kind as much as possible where we can see that price. And then you can even see where it flipped and resold for within the last couple of years. And we just kind of use that as a good baseline in areas that you can do that.
It's interesting because I think that's market specific.
Yeah.
And Andrew, you have different markets on this call for a reason.
Yeah.
I think that's market specific because my coach, my mentor was from Ohio when I first started out, and he looked at every house as the same house. Well, I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, where, I mean, we have houses that sell for $60 a square foot and houses that sell for $600 a square foot, 8 miles apart.
Oh, yeah.
So ARVs can be really, really tricky. You have to be very isolated. Repairs are the same thing because on a $2 million house, I can't do the repairs that I would do on a $150,000 house, right? So it's very market specific. So as long your as is will work. If you're really focused in my market, you would have to really have a small radius.
Like we're talking the same neighborhood almost. Like pretty much right.
But in Indiana and Ohio and maybe in Augusta, you can use that as is. And Tim, my mentor, taught that, and I tried it and it didn't work for me at all because of this market. But it may work very, very well for you.
No, that's a good point. I like that. It's like the different ideas here. That's why I wanted your guys' thoughts personally. That's why I wanted to bring it up because I was like, hey, let's hear this out. Different markets. It's a really good point.
I'll tell you what, guys, we ought to do this again, but I'm going to go through a couple more questions and then we'll call it a day because it's getting, 7 o'clock. I want to value you guys' time and everybody else.
Come on, we're just getting started.
I know. That's the problem with us real estate people. We could talk all night. But I got to go to dinner with the kids. We're going to Salty Dog Cafe. So
nice.
Nice. David asked about bandit signs. Is anybody still doing bandit signs? I see Columbia's dried up and maybe they're just picking them up, code enforcement, but
I have one in my front yard.
Yeah, I put them on our properties. And actually I've gotten calls from it, so maybe it's worth it. But is it worth the time and energy throwing them out every Saturday morning, or you guys doing it?
I'm doing it myself.
Yeah.
Any marketing you do consistently will work.
Good point.
Any marketing you do consistently will work. If you believe in bandit signs, you enjoy putting out bandit signs, and you are confident that bandit signs are going to work and you're consistent with it, it'll work. I hate Google. I detest Google. I fight Google. So I just don't do Google because I don't believe in it. I don't think it works. I have friends who are killing it with Google.
You're gonna make
I would believe in bandit signs
jump
first.
On here.
Yeah, Chad is who I was thinking of when I said that.
So,
one thing about bandit signs though is, like, this is just my opinion, but I think, like, especially starting your business, like, define what your core values are, like what you truly believe in, and then let those core values guide your business in the direction that you want it to go. That's kind of a random point, but I think it's very helpful because that's overlooked. But in regards to like bandit signs, just realize that you're gonna have to put out hundreds and hundreds and like literally thousands of ones. I'm not discouraging it because if that's what you want to do, that's you. But at the same time, it does just like filtrate the whole, county and city, and it's not very eye appealing.
yeah.
Kind of like how you want to do business, but just know like a ton of them are going to get pulled up.
Yeah, put in the trash. There you go. Chad said, "Don't hate, Russ."
I don't hate anybody, man.
Yeah.
So I had one more question from Andy. Do you guys ever do termite or home inspections before you send your wholesale deals out? We don't. No.
We used to.
Really?
Whenever we were putting these on the MLS,
Yes.
that's like a whole nother ball field.
We're not going down that.
Don't.
We're not going down that train.
I offer my buyer the opportunity. I mean, my buyer has the opportunity to do any inspections they want before we assign the contract. Not after.
They can do it before we sign it.
Get all the inspections you want, but and there's a lot of liability involved, especially as a licensed agent. Those of us who are licensed agents, having those inspections done ahead of time, I need to provide them.
That you have
and
knowledge.
I don't think that's a great idea.
Yep. All right, guys. So, hey, I got one more great question here. A house with a bonus room, would putting a closet in it, forcing it to be a bedroom, be worth it? Would it be worth bringing up the ARV, making it a 2-bed to a 3-bed? I'd say all day long, yes.
Yep.
Put the closet in.
But make sure you're not looking at, like, you're not comparing the ARV of that property, like whatever yours is, to a property that's much bigger with it. Like, stay within 200 square feet, maybe 300 max. Don't be like comparing it to completely much bigger property.
Yep. Perfect. I hope you heard that, Leah. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Facebook Live, you have been awesome. I love the questions and the comments. This will be on Facebook, so you can come back and watch it. I know that Vance, Carson, Russ, I think you gave your emails, your phone numbers. If you want to put them in the comments or something like that, just go ahead and come back to the Facebook group and put them in there. That way people can reach out to you. That's probably the easiest thing to do. And I would say, we'll do this again, but I know if we did this again, we'd go for hours and hours. So REI Live will be back live soon, I promise, in Columbia. So you guys, I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there. If anybody watching has questions of these three or myself, you can find us on Facebook, find us in REI Live group. You can also reach out to their personal pages, of course, and their phone numbers or emails that they'll give you. Remember, this was a lot of education. This was a lot of us talking about deals and how to get started and what to do next. But for you to really actually do a deal, if you're just getting started, you've got to implement it. Get some instructions, find somebody that can just kind of tug you along or push you forward, get started. And if you're looking to get better and level up, these guys right here in our business, it's all been surrounded by what life we wanted to build, the core values of our business, and then the policies and procedures to make that happen. So make it a business. This is not a hobby unless you want it to be a hobby, but it's a business for us. So get to work on it. And I love you guys. I'm so excited to see REI Live back together when we're in person, but this has been fun. Next month, September 18th, maybe 15th. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, third Tuesday will be Lauren Hardy virtual wholesaling. So guys, loved it. You guys were awesome. Thanks for being here, Carson, Vance, and Russ. I'll let you go. Tell your puppies we said bye, Russ. All right. Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.